Welcome to the Crystal Clear Podcast with Coach Dave Jones. Come to get crystal clear about what you want out of life and out of your business. Come to get crystal clear about why you want that. Come to get clear about what you want to do and who you're going to help and why it matters to them. Come to get crystal clear to develop a plan that will work for you in attaining what you want out of your life and out of your business. We're diving right in again today. I appreciate you for joining me. It's only been 4 days, but we're on episode 3. I took the day off yesterday to assist my wife with her latest business venture. And that is Neatly Vegan Sweets. If you want to check it out, follow her on Instagram. NeitlyVegansweets. It's a play on her name, Lanit. Yesterday was a phenomenal experience. Number one, first and foremost, I'm happy for my wife. I'm happy for what she was able to realize yesterday, and not realize in terms of perception, but realize that an idea can be implemented. It's good to realize that there's demand for your offering. It's doubly good for that offer to be well received. So this was a live event that we did here in the Dallas Metroplex area. Shout out to Afro Soca Love. It's an event kind of like a little bit southeast of downtown. But anyway, my wife set up her vegan sweets. She's been working so diligently this week in preparing those goods. We've been working diligently together over the last couple months, really, when the idea was birthed, to make this day a success. And that's from coming up with the name, the branding, the marketing strategy, strategizing on the menu items and what was going to speak to our intended audience at this event, getting our story together. Shout out to my wife. She was the perfect student for my clear method. So, we clarified her mission. We leveraged her experience, and resources. She loves to bake. We have a home kitchen. She has a wealth of experience personally in her family. Very great bakers and sweets cooks in her family. We were able to develop a plan based off that mission, who we want to speak to, how we want to serve the community. Then we were able to make a plan to say, here's our story, here's what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it, and guess what? We did it. And then we're able to analyze the results. So here's the first key lessons. We brought way too much inventory for the event. There were some items that we thought would have a certain impact, but they did not. I'm confident in saying this due to my knowledge with statistics and mathematics, in that if you have, I think we processed almost 100 transactions from a swath of the demographic to whom we intend to speak and sell to over time, specifically that demographic. And they voted with their purchases of what products resonated with them. The story certainly resonated. We were able to get a good amount of buzz and word of mouth, referral and recommendation within the event. This is only within 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that. So that's phenomenal. The story is great. The branding is great. But there were 3 products that were not well received. So we're not going to beat ourselves up. Some people like them. We're going to share them with friends and family. That what was left over, we're going to donate some of those goods. They will be enjoyed. They were good, but that's not what our business demographic wants. Another thing we did is we received feedback. This is all part of that. Let's stick with the analysis. So therefore, we're going to either reduce or eliminate those SKUs or SKUs, stock keeping units, if you want to know what that means. And we're either going to swap them for something else or just eliminate them altogether. We're going to really double up on the item that we sold out of. The demand for that was tremendous. And surprisingly enough, it was our highest price point item. So that was a great insight as well. There's a few things from a marketing perspective we need to tweak. Trying to build audience around the brand. I definitely know that I could have done a better job of setting up the systems that would allow that to happen more seamlessly, but we did need to test the theories that we had, and specifically that I had around how to best do that. The good news is we were able to grow the Instagram page by, I believe, like 30, 40 people yesterday, which is great because the page is brand new. We were like at maybe 50 something at the beginning of the day and close to 100 at the end. So that's great. And then next we have to refine and repeat. That's the last letter in the clear process. So what we're going to do is we got feedback. We understand that certain flavor profiles. So we had like a vanilla cake, a brownie, and a chocolate chip cookie. I thought the chocolate chip cookie was going to do great because it's phenomenal. That's my personal opinion. However, it was not well received, nor was the vanilla cake, nor was the brownie. And what we realized for this specific audience to whom we're speaking is that those flavors are too common and or too bleh. They don't incite any emotional response. They don't promote thinking back to earlier times in life and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. That reminds me of home. That reminds me of grandma. That reminds me of mom. So they're getting the axe, and we're going to test our next set of assumptions at our next event. And we'll go through this process again. And the more we go through it, the faster our flywheel will become. The more momentum that flywheel will become, the more mass it will have behind it to where it is more of a self-sustaining, scalable, promotable business. And that is our goal. So thanks for giving me a few minutes to walk through that path. Again, shout out to my wife. She did phenomenal. Before I go any further, I want to wish a happy Father's Day to any and all fathers who are listening to this. And a special happy Father's Day to my father, David Anthony Jones Sr., the man who started it all, the man for whom I'm named, and my first hero. My dad really encouraged me and then continues to encourage me in life and whatever it is that I choose to seek. He is kind enough to share in his wisdoms that he's gained. So he always encourages me to live life from the perspective of pursuing opportunities that are important and meaningful to me. So that as I look back on my life in real time and through hindsight, that I don't have regret, and I'm also keeping things in a balanced, healthy perspective, and that you can do what you need to do and do what you are meant to do simultaneously. They are not mutually exclusive pursuits. So shout out to you, Pop. I love you. Enjoy your day. I will be calling you very soon to wish you a happy Father's Day, probably after church. My dad is a minister. He's his assistant or associate pastor at our home church in Arkansas. So I know he has an action-packed day ahead of him. But you enjoy your day, Pop. Today I want to talk about the knowledge of self is the truth. And the more that you know yourself, the more that you will know the truth. And not the truth in some like out there, esoteric sort of way, but really like that. If you want to succeed in business, you have to continually pursue the truth. And you have to continually pursue the fuller, more honest, more open expression in the higher unfoldment of the self, of yourself. I'm going to dive into it. I want to make this plain. I don't want to make this mental gymnastics or manipulation. That is not my intent. My intent is plainness in style, clarity in delivery. And I want to hopefully impact your day and impact your life in a positive and helpful way to your mission in living your best life through entrepreneurship. So I'll give you the story of me, how this realization bared itself to me. I'm still on this journey of knowing self and realizing self and expressing my highest unfoldment. And I intend to continue on this process and journey for my entire life, because it is my belief and my understanding that man is to continually pursue his higher and higher unfoldment in self-realization. That's how you add the most value and make the most positive impact on your world today and in the world tomorrow. Is to be your best self. And your best self is already in you. You are there, but you have to unpeel all those things that are clouding your ability to express yourself in that way and to be your best and highest self. Your oneness with the universe, your oneness with God, your oneness in whatever you believe the highest state of being to be, even if it's in your life. I just want to express that in this lifetime. And I want you to express that in your lifetime. So in my journey, I spent so much of my life in performance mode. And that is speaking a certain way, behaving a certain way, pursuing certain opportunities because the character that I was playing would do those things. And here's the thing. When you're acting for maybe a film or for, a production of some sort, you know when the camera is on and you know when to act, when to perform. The dangerous thing in life is when you perform so much for so long, so consistently, that you confuse the character with yourself. The character that you project into the world is not yourself. It's not your best and highest self. It cannot be. Your best and highest self is a whole person, full of complexity, full of love, full of passion, full of positivity and optimism. That is your best and highest self. Your best and highest self wants to be of service to others. And through this service to others, your best and highest self will experience its best existence through the service of others unto itself. Life is all about service. So as I was doing this performance and I would achieve certain milestones, whether that's income or promotions or love or the praise and acknowledgement of others, whatever that character was seeking, when I would attain that prize, if you will, I was still unhappy. And I had to ask myself why that was. And it's because the character is not real. And because the character is not real, the character cannot be satisfied. The character has no feelings. The character has no drive. The character is only a performance. So as I started to educate myself, that education is from self-reflection, it's from working with therapists, it's from working with coaches, it's from seeking wise counsel from people that I trust. My father, my mother, my spouse, my grandparents, my uncles, close friends, business mentors, books. I began to realize that me did not want to perform. Me wants to express. And I had to start coming to terms with the complexity of the real me and how I had subdued that complexity and that color and that love and that optimism through the character. And as a result, I was existing in a much lower state than I was capable of existing in that present moment. Now, I can also see that I could not have expressed myself any higher because I did not have the knowledge that was required to reach that realization and pivot. But nonetheless, I'm at a much higher frequency now, so as a result, I'm behaving much differently, with much more peace, fulfillment, self-control, much more purpose, much more intentionality, much more love, optimism, and forgiveness. What I realized was that, here's an example. For you to hate, you must have loved. And the character only wanted to express love, and hate is mutually exclusive. But that core emotion is deep care. That is the truth. I care very deeply about things. And for something to upset me means that I care very deeply. And when I'm upset, it's because I know that I'm not exerting my truth into the situation. That is what I realized later. And the truth is, you can do it. We can accomplish anything in this earthly realm. Everything that we need is available to us. And those things that we need that are not yet available to us will be made available to us in the right time. Go back 50,000 years. Do you think that a person living at that time could have imagined where humanity would be in its current course of evolution? Fast forward 50,000 years, I will not be able to imagine what their lives will be like. Everything that they need, some of which is being produced now, some of which is being developed now, other things they need will be developed. They will come into fruition in the future so that it will be available to them at that time because they will be expressing themselves in a higher, fuller way than we are capable of doing so at our current state of evolution. Same thing goes in a more micro scale in your life. What a shame it is to pledge allegiance to your lower self, lower state of being, as that you cannot express the fullness of truth. I am forgiving, but I am not forgetting. That is part of my complexity and the truth of what it is. If you read the Bible, it says that God essentially will forgive you of almost anything, but there is still a record. That is compassion. That is love. And it's not that you're remembering to use that as a weapon against others. It's that you are remembering so that you will not make the same mistakes, and so that you can move with more confidence and wisdom, truth, and power in the future. That is the purpose of memory, so that you can become wise. If you are acting without memory, you are acting foolishly and without wisdom. Wisdom is truth. Truth is permanent. Expression evolves, but truth is. It just is. So, as an entrepreneur, if you are not achieving the results that you want to achieve in your business, it is because you are performing. And it's not like that. Do the thing like the person you want. I'm a huge proponent of that. But if you're doing the things that the person is doing without understanding, without wisdom, without insight, perspective, and perception, you're just playing a video game. You're just performing. You're just burning time. Because that performance is not leading to a higher understanding. It is not leading to a higher expression with wisdom. And without that, you will not be able to achieve all the things that you wish to achieve. Get to know yourself. That thing that you're most embarrassed about, that you're most ashamed of, is probably the thing that once you come to terms that is part of who you are, and it's potentially your greatest source of power, the longer you fight that, the longer you say, I want to stick to the fake character instead of my true self, you're going to be in quite a quandary, quite a pickle. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be stuck. All of these things that you do not want and that I do not want for you. Embrace those things. They are the truth. We are complicated, we are complex, but we're full of love, optimism, service, compassion. All of these traits that so many of us assign positive values to. You're full of that stuff. You're made of that stuff. That stuff is the energy of the universe, and that's what you're made of, the energy of the universe. Embrace it, unlock your potential, and be great. If you want help with this and you think I'm the person to help you, I suggest that you work with me. Let's go through this clear method and process together. Let's clarify your mission. Let's leverage your available resources. Let's create a plan of action. Let's execute that plan. Let's analyze the results and thus refine your approach so that you can be great. I appreciate your time. Have a great rest of the day.